Hello, I'm here with Jess, and we have some exciting news. She just got to take a look at 15 minutes of Star Wars Outlaws. We're going to break that down right now. So we've heard about the Star Wars game for a very long time, but we haven't seen it until now. So what exactly is Star Wars Outlaws?
You play Kay Vess, and you're infiltrating this sort of enemy gang's base at the very beginning.
Yeah,
outpost. Yeah. And so you're sneaking around through there. You have your little sort of like furry oxalotl type creature, Star Wars.
It's what we saw in the trailer, right? That little creature thing.
Yes, okay. That is Nyx. And so you can use Nyx to kind of cause distractions throughout, your infiltrations. You can send them off to hit a button and make a noise, or fetch some like ammo or a gun for you. You can do that as well. So in this gameplay that I saw, she sends him to go hit a button, and he moves this crate attached to a crane, and she ends up jumping on it, and then that way she can ride it to the other side to kind of get past people stealthily. However, she also packs a punch. So, you see her sneak up and take down enemies. You are equipped with a blaster. She ends up getting a rifle blaster during this bit of gameplay also. In the midst of this infiltration mission, though, she ends up being caught, and she has to kind of make a quick getaway. Runs outside, jumps on a speeder bike. You get to actually do combat on the speeder bikes as well. So you're like,
aiming and shooting as you're driving and stuff? Okay.
Yeah, and there's kind of like this time slowdown element to it also. So you can kind of like, lean to one side and time slows down, and you can hit a few enemies pretty quickly. Then heads to a cantina. At the cantina, she meets up with the client who she was fetching an object for. And the person who she meets up with has kind of double-crossed her a little bit. There's someone from the Empire there. And the Imperial officer kind of asked you if you'd like to bribe them for them to, keep kind of quiet about seeing you. And yeah.
So there's a little bit of dialogue choices. Did it seem pretty deep, or was it pretty context, like, hey, you've got two options, you can bribe or you don't have to bribe?
It seems not super deep, but it does seem like the choices that you make, whether it's bribe, don't bribe, lie, don't lie, do have, they impact kind of your reputation, which is apparently the biggest system in the game, is your reputation and how different gangs or organizations or syndicates see you. So you can either bribe or not bribe this Imperial officer. Ultimately, in the gameplay I saw, they chose not to bribe, which caused their, it's almost kind of like a Grand Theft Auto wanted level to kind of rise.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so then she's, booking it out of the cantina while people are chasing her down, gets into her starship, and you go seamlessly from these locations to just going into space. And there are like dogfights with TIE fighters and driving through rubble. You can find a clear space and go into hyperdrive. So it was pretty impressive, honestly.
So did you get an idea of the scale of it? Because I think I saw that at least they're saying this is the first truly open world Star Wars game. But what does that mean? Especially if you can go to outer space, that seems big.
Yes, it seems. So I only saw, I think, one planet, and then kind of the space outside of it, and then entering another planet's orbit. But it still seems pretty big. Compared to every other take on a Star Wars game that we've seen, this one seems quite a bit bigger.
Yeah. Is it pretty focused, in terms of combat, is it pretty focused on that third person shooter style gameplay? Is there melee weapons? I think you said you could get in close too, but there's no lightsabers.
Yeah, no lightsabers, no melee weapons that I saw.
Oh, okay.
You never know when they'll surprise you, but
sure.
Yeah, just blasters, just the third person shooting. And it seems like it's going to be one of those games where you can play it stealthy, you can decide that you just want to go in, kind of guns blazing. And something that I noticed too is whenever the person who was playing got caught in the hands-off preview that I saw, there was kind of a pause where the person was like, hey, what are you doing? And its time slows a little bit, and you can kind of choose to shoot first or not. And so it seems like that might be a system. Yeah.
When you say not, flee, or does it seem like maybe there's dialogue options, you can kind of talk your way out of it?
It seemed almost like, I don't know if dialogue options would have popped up because he ended up shooting.
Yeah.
But it definitely slowed down, and maybe it'd be one of those situations to where if you don't shoot, something else would have happened.
Okay. So it sounds kind of like what Metal Gear Solid 5 did when you get caught, time slows, and you have that second to react, whether you shoot, hide, whatever it might be. That sounds cool. That sounds really ambitious. I don't know. Any final thoughts?
I guess for those of you who are wondering where in the Star Wars timeline it takes place, because it is a lot, this one is actually between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So
Okay.
I don't know how much we're going to see of like the main trio or anything like that. We do see Han in Carbonite, but I think that was in the trailer that we saw already. But yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. We could potentially see, you know, Luke Skywalker in his transition to, you know, wearing the all black outfit phase. I don't know. So there's a lot to be excited about, but even if they don't lean into that, even if they don't, you know, go full Skywalker with it, there seems to be a lot that just gives it its own identity. And it should be a lot of fun for people who just like a good stealth game.
Yeah. Any idea when it comes out? Did they tell you that, or were they pretty vague?
They said 2024, but
Never know.
It's a big game.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's been Star Wars Outlaws. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure to check out our other impressions from Summer Game Fest and beyond. But with that, we'll see you next time.